Hey everybody, welcome back to day 27 of this 30 Days of Mindfulness series. And today I'm going to be talking about truthfulness, what that means in the context of a meditation practice. So this word dharma can mean a lot of things actually, including Buddhist teachings, but also this word dharma refers to reality, truth, the way things actually are. And so in Dharma practice and meditation, part of this is actually aligning ourselves with the way nature is around us, right? Despite maybe my preferences and the way I would like things to always be, nature has its own reality to it, its own flow to it. I'm in a human body which is aging, whether I like it or not, right? So yeah, things like this, like impermanence. So in meditation, part of this is turning towards reality and working with things as they are. And the first way this can relate to a meditation practice is to just begin by being honest about what is actually happening in the mind in meditation, right? Beginning to be truthful and honest and taking an actual look as we sit down and meditate. What are these habitual patterns that are continually coming up? It's almost like calling them out a little bit, right? Whether it's the inner critic, whether it's that voice, whether it's the wishing someone else was different, whether it's that voice, beginning to actually just be honest and saying, oh, this is continually happening. And in meditation practice, we can, through actually noticing this, instead of just running on these habits, on these patterns of mind which are not beneficial, we can begin to disengage from them a little bit. Some of these patterns of mind which continually want to go down the same routes which aren't beneficial. And until meditation begins, I think often this goes unnoticed, right? I don't know how many years of my life I've probably spent running on patterns of mind that were not serving me. So this is the first step, is to just be aware, being honest about what's actually happening. And then the other important factor is to actually begin to see how being attached and how clinging to certain views, negative self-views and things like that, how it actually feels to be clinging. Like it doesn't feel good in the mind. There's like usually a dissonance when I know for myself, if I am, trying to set a bar for myself, for instance, that I am constantly below, attached to some ideal that I would like to be, or doing the same thing to someone else in my life, right? Or if I'm attached to, you name it, right? Material things, youth and good looks, whatever it is. I'm in a body that's constantly changing, getting older. There are a million different things, an infinite amount of things that the mind can be attached to. So in meditation practice, we can begin to actually see how this feels to be continually trying to hold on to something, grasping. And in seeing this, the mind can begin to just naturally release from some of those patterns. It's almost like in just seeing over and over again in meditation, this is painful, the mind naturally begins to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's almost like in seeing the truth, the mind knows the path forward. And then finally, what I wanted to bring up is that another important part of truth is, are my actions, are my patterns of mind in line with my deepest values? So it could be worthwhile to take some time to think about what are some of the deepest values that I actually are really important, that I do want to hold myself to. Not ideals in terms of popularity or, getting other people how I want other people to see me, but actually in our own hearts, right? Like, what is the most important thing? I know for myself, at a certain point in my life, I just realized all the things that I thought I needed to be happy, accord from others, some level of recognition of worth from other people, slowly started to fall away in this process. And I just kind of was like, I just want to be a good person. That's the most simple thing. Like, that's actually going to make me happy, is if my own mind, my own heart, and how I am moving through the world and interacting with others, if I'm being genuine, if I'm being kind, considerate, right? These are actually values that for me anyways, have been things that I really want to cultivate. And so I can notice when my mind is not in line with these values, when I'm being selfish, right? Doesn't feel good anymore. And so this is a continual practice for myself and this is a huge part of meditation practice, is noticing what's happening, noticing our actions, and trying to continually just adjust, because there can be less dissonance over time when the people we actually are and how we move through the world on a daily basis are in line with those values. And so we will sit and do some practice now, and working with this mind that we all have, and we're just going to be turning towards it and noticing and being honest with ourselves in a seated meditation practice. So finding this upright posture, inviting a sense of dignity. So the back is upright, the chest can be open, and the shoulders can release down the back. And you can close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. So the first thing in meditation is just to deprioritize the entire realm of the conceptual world. So releasing the mind from having to be anybody in particular, and allowing awareness to settle into the body and the breath. The breath has been happening for our entire lives, from the moment we were born. And living creatures have been breathing for millions and billions of years. So we're just tapping into this ancient rhythm of the breath. To steady the mind and to connect us more deeply to experience. Allowing the out-breath to just gently massage any unnecessary tension from the body, breathing out through any tension in the forehead, the thinking muscles of the mind, the jaw, just allowing the out-breath to release the shoulders just a little bit more down this upright spine, opening the chest, releasing tension in the belly, and allowing the mind to settle into the roots of the legs and the contact points beneath us. Softening and widening our intention to encompass the whole body breathing. And when the mind picks up a thought, it's just this simple recognition of where it's going to and allowing the attention to come back to the breath. Inviting honesty into the meditation practice. So this is balancing the soft, receptive, open qualities with the alert quality of the mind, which can be truthful and recognize where the mind goes when it wanders. There's no judgment in this process, just simple mindfulness through bare recognition of what's happening and returning and settling into this rhythm of the body breathing. And as I ring this bell, just noticing what's happening in the mind right now. So thank you as always for taking the time to sit and practice. And this is one way of turning towards honesty, truthfulness in meditation. And I think it's a really big step, and one that not many people often take, is to really view and to see clearly what's happening in their own minds and their own hearts. And I would like to encourage you, as you move through your next day, to maybe consider what some of your own values are, which are important, that you would like to live by, not as rules or a harsh discipline to have on yourself, but just something to actually lift the heart, something to aspire to. Because this can start to guide and shift the way the mind can transform, right? These values can be a leader for the mind and show the direction that we'd like to go in our lives. So as always, hope this was helpful, beneficial in some way, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be well.